Poverty isn't a lack of money. Poverty is a lack of financial education. Have you ever wondered why some people receive millions and end up bankrupt, while others start with almost nothing and build empires? The difference isn't in the wallet. It's in the mind. Today you're going to learn what should have been your first lesson about money, but no one had the courage to teach you. If you're ready to stop blaming the economy and start taking control of your financial life, write in the comments, "I'm not poor, I'm financially educating myself." Most people believe that getting a high-paying job is the path to wealth. That's what you've been told your entire life, isn't it? Go to school, get good grades, find a secure job, save money, buy a house, and someday retire with a pension. It's the advice your parents gave you, your teachers reinforced, and society celebrated. But let me ask you something. If this advice works so well, why are 95% of people still struggling financially at age 65? Here's the truth they don't want you to know. The system wasn't designed to make you rich. The system was designed to make you a good employee, a good consumer, a good taxpayer, someone who follows the rules without asking too many questions, someone who believes that financial struggle is normal and that wealth is for the lucky few. Your problem isn't that you don't make enough money. Your problem is that no one ever taught you what to do with the money you make. No one taught you the difference between an asset and a liability. No one showed you how money really works. No one explained the 4 quadrants of cash flow. And most importantly, no one revealed that the rules of money changed dramatically over the last decades, but the advice remained the same. So what happens? You trade your time for money. You get a paycheck. You pay your bills. You buy things that make you feel good temporarily. You save a little if you're lucky. And then you repeat the cycle next month, and the month after that for 40 years, hoping something will change. But something is fundamentally broken in this approach. We need to address the elephant in the room. Financial illiteracy is the pandemic no one is talking about. It's a disease that affects all income levels. I've seen surgeons making $500,000 a year who are 2 missed paychecks away from financial disaster. I've seen teachers making $50,000 who have built impressive wealth through smart financial decisions. Income does not equal wealth. Let me be clear. Your school didn't fail to teach you about money by accident. Financial ignorance is part of the design. An economically illiterate population is easier to control, easier to sell to, easier to keep in the endless cycle of work, spend, borrow. Think about it. You spent years learning about the Pythagorean theorem, the capital of Zimbabwe, and the chemical composition of salt. But did anyone teach you how compound interest works? Did they explain the tax advantages of different investment vehicles? Did they show you how to read a financial statement? Did they reveal that inflation is silently eating your savings alive? No, because they wanted you dependent on the system, not independent from it. So what exactly is financial literacy? At its core, it's understanding how money works and how to make it work for you instead of you working for it. The financially literate know the difference between good debt and bad debt. They understand that taxes are mostly voluntary for the educated. They recognize that true wealth isn't measured by how much you earn, but by how many days you can survive without working. They know that the best investments aren't found on TV commercials or recommended by your brother-in-law. Let's break down the fundamental principles of financial literacy that no one taught you. First, your house is not an asset. I know this statement triggers people, but hear me out. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. Your personal residence, no matter how expensive, takes money out of your pocket every month. Mortgage, taxes, insurance, maintenance, utilities, it's a liability disguised as an asset. This doesn't mean you shouldn't own a home. It means you should stop fooling yourself about what it really is financially. Second, your job is not secure. The industrial age is over. Company loyalty is dead. Technology is replacing humans at an accelerating rate. Your specialized skills might be obsolete in 5 years. The idea of climbing the corporate ladder for 40 years and retiring with a gold watch is a fairy tale from the 1950s. Your job is not an asset. It's a temporary source of income that could disappear any moment. The financially literate person doesn't rely on a single source of income. Third, saving money is not enough. In fact, with current interest rates and inflation, saving money means you're losing money every single day. The purchasing power of your saved dollars is shrinking while you sleep. The old advice of save 10% of your income might have worked for your grandparents, but in today's financial environment, it's a prescription for financial mediocrity. Fourth, college degrees are depreciating assets. The return on investment for many degrees is now negative when you account for the time and money spent acquiring them. Except for specific technical fields, employers care more about what you can do than what degree you have. The financially literate understand that education is crucial, but formal education is just one way to learn and often not the most efficient or cost-effective. Fifth, you're paying too much in taxes. The tax code isn't a set of rules telling you how much to pay. It's a set of incentives telling you how to behave to pay less. The financially educated don't avoid taxes. They arrange their affairs to minimize taxes legally. They understand that the biggest expense in their lifetime isn't housing, healthcare, or education. It's taxes. Sixth, debt can be a powerful tool. Not all debt is bad. Consumer debt that finances depreciating assets or experiences is financial cancer. But debt that acquires cash-flowing assets can dramatically accelerate your wealth building. The rich use debt strategically. The poor avoid it religiously or abuse it recklessly. Seventh, the stock market is not the only place to invest. In fact, it might be one of the worst places for the average person. You're competing against professionals with better information, faster computers, and insider connections. The financially literate explore multiple investment vehicles: real estate, private businesses, intellectual property, commodities, and yes, sometimes traditional securities. Eighth, your financial problems are your responsibility, not your parents', not your spouses', not your employers', and certainly not the government's. No one cares about your financial future more than you do. No one is coming to save you. It's harsh, but it's true. Financial self-reliance isn't just about money. It's about taking full responsibility for your life. Ninth, money is a game, with specific rules. Those who know the rules win. Those who don't lose. And the rules aren't taught in school, they're passed down from the wealthy to their children, discussed in country clubs, shared in boardrooms. But now with the internet, these rules are available to anyone willing to seek them out. 10th, financial freedom isn't about being rich. It's about having enough passive income from assets to cover your living expenses without having to work. It's about choices and options. It's about waking up and deciding what to do with your day because you want to, not because you have to. It's about controlling your time, the only truly limited resource in your life. Now, let's talk about the cash flow quadrant, a concept that changed my life when I first understood it. The quadrant has 4 parts: E for employee, S for self-employed, B for business owner, and I for investor. Most people spend their lives in the E quadrant, trading hours for dollars. Some graduate to the S quadrant, where they own a job instead of having a job. But true financial freedom comes from operating in the B and I quadrants, where systems and assets work for you. Employees work for money. The rich have money work for them. It's that simple and that profound. Let me give you a concrete example of how the financially illiterate think versus how the financially literate think. When the financially illiterate receive a $5,000 bonus, they immediately think about what they can buy: a vacation, a new TV, clothes, a down payment on a car. Their mind goes to consumption. When the financially literate receive that same $5,000, they think about what assets they can acquire: a piece of cash-flowing real estate, shares in a dividend-paying stock, equipment for a side business, or education that will increase their earning potential. Their mind goes to investment. Same money, different mindset, vastly different outcomes. Here's another example. The financially illiterate believe that being debt-free is the pinnacle of financial success. They aggressively pay off their mortgage, proud to burn their mortgage papers in a ceremonial bonfire. Meanwhile, the financially literate might keep that mortgage, especially if it's at a low interest rate, and use the capital to invest in assets that return more than the cost of the debt. They understand that strategic leverage builds wealth The financially illiterate obsess over saving money on small expenses, clipping coupons, chasing sales, switching insurance companies to save $50 a year. The financially literate focus on increasing income through new value creation, knowing that while expenses have a floor, income has no ceiling. The financially illiterate complain about taxes and feel victimized by the system. The financially literate study the tax code like a treasure map, finding legal ways to redirect what would have been tax payments into wealth-building opportunities. The financially illiterate see money as a scarce resource to hoard. The financially literate see money as abundant energy to direct and circulate. But let's get practical. How do you start transitioning from financial illiteracy to financial literacy? Step 1. Audit your current financial situation honestly. Most people live in financial denial, afraid to face the truth about their money habits. Get clear on your assets, liabilities, income, and expenses. You can't navigate to your destination if you don't know your starting point. Step 2. Increase your financial vocabulary. Words create worlds. If you don't understand terms like cash, flow, capital gains, depreciation, leverage, liquidity, or diversification, you're trying to play a game without knowing the rules. Start reading financial books, listening to podcasts, and surrounding yourself with financially literate conversations. Step 3. Convert earned income into passive or portfolio income as quickly as possible. Earned income is the most heavily taxed and requires your constant time and effort. Passive income from business systems and portfolio income from investments are taxed more favorably and don't require your daily presence. Step 4. Study from those who have achieved what you want to achieve, not from those who are theorizing about it. Your broke brother-in-law's investment advice is probably worth what you paid for it. Find mentors who have actually created wealth in the area you're interested in pursuing. Step 5. Understand that financial education is not an event. It's a lifelong process. The rules of money are constantly changing. Tax laws change, markets evolve, technology disrupts. The financially literate commit to ongoing learning. Step 6. Start small, but start now. You don't need to make huge investments to begin. What you need is to develop the mindset and habits of the financially literate. Even modest investments, made consistently with knowledge and strategy, will compound over time. Step 7. Invest first in your financial education, then in actual investments. Would you perform surgery without medical training? Would you fly a plane without pilot training? Then why would you invest money without financial training? The return on investment in financial education can be astronomical, far higher than most traditional investments. The sad reality is that most people will hear this message and do nothing with it. They'll nod in agreement, maybe share it with a friend, then go back to their financially illiterate behaviors the very next day. They'll continue to believe that their financial struggles are due to external circumstances rather than internal ignorance. But you're different, aren't you? You're still listening, you're taking notes. You're ready to break free from the mental chains that have kept you financially restricted. You're beginning to understand that the problem was never a lack of money. It was a lack of financial knowledge. Every wealthy person I know reads financial books, attends seminars, studies markets, and constantly upgrades their financial understanding. Meanwhile, the average person spends more time researching their next phone purchase than researching their next investment. The average American spends 5 hours daily watching television, but won't spend 5 hours monthly studying finance. Is it any wonder why the wealth gap continues to widen? Let me address some objections I often hear. But I don't have money to invest. This is like saying you're too sick to take medicine. If you don't have money to invest, that's precisely why you need financial education the most. Start with paper investments. Practice allocating theoretical money and track the results. Read books about money. Listen to financial podcasts during your commute. Attend free investment workshops. Knowledge costs far less than ignorance. Investing is too risky. Not investing is the biggest risk of all. What's riskier? Learning to grow your money in a diversified portfolio, or hoping your company doesn't downsize, your industry doesn't automate, and Social Security will be enough for your retirement? Not investing guarantees financial failure in an inflationary world. I'll start when I make more money. This is backward thinking. Financial education should precede financial abundance, not follow it. Most lottery winners and sudden inheritors lose everything precisely because they got money before education. Start with what you have, where you are. I don't have time for financial education. Yet you have time for Netflix, social media, and complaining about being broke? This isn't about time. It's about priorities. The average American spends 4 hours daily on their smartphone. Reallocate just 30 minutes of that time to financial education, and you'll be in the top 5% of financially educated people within a year. This all sounds like get-rich-quick thinking. Actually, it's get-rich slowly but surely thinking. Financial literacy isn't about overnight success. It's about understanding principles that have worked for centuries, applying them consistently, and allowing the power of compound knowledge and compound returns to work their magic over time. Here's what's fascinating about financial literacy. The principles aren't complicated. You don't need an advanced degree to understand them. What you need is the willingness to question what you've been taught, the humility to admit what you don't know, and the determination to learn what you need to know. Consider this. Most millionaires are first-generation wealthy. They weren't born into money, they learned how money works, and they applied that knowledge consistently. If they can do it, why not you? The real tragedy isn't being poor. The real tragedy is accepting financial ignorance as your permanent condition. It's believing that wealth is for others, but not for you. It's resigning yourself to financial mediocrity when abundance is available to anyone willing to educate themselves. Let me tell you a personal story. When I was young, my poor dad, my biological father, always said, "Money doesn't grow on trees." He believed money was scarce and hard to earn. My rich dad, my best friend's father, who became my financial mentor, said, "Money is just an idea backed by confidence created by people who believe in ideas." Same world, 2 completely different perspectives. One led to a lifetime of financial struggle, the other to financial freedom. Which perspective serves you better? Which perspective empowers you to take control of your financial future? The choice to remain financially illiterate in the information age is just that, a choice. Information has never been more accessible. Books, podcasts, YouTube videos, online courses, the knowledge that was once hidden behind expensive paywalls or exclusive social circles is now available to anyone with an internet connection. What's holding you back isn't access to information, it's the willingness to admit you need it. Pride keeps more people poor than lack of opportunity. The unwillingness to say, "I don't know," and the refusal to learn what you need to know are the real barriers to financial progress. Let me be crystal clear. You are not destined to financial struggle. Your past does not determine your financial future. Your current income does not limit your wealth potential. Your family background does not dictate your financial destiny. The only thing standing between you and financial freedom is the knowledge gap, and that gap can be closed through deliberate, consistent financial education. Imagine waking up every morning with no financial stress. Imagine checking your accounts and seeing your money growing whether you work that day or not. Imagine having the freedom to say yes to opportunities and no to obligations. Imagine helping your family, supporting causes you believe in, and leaving a legacy that extends far beyond your lifetime. This isn't a fantasy. This is what financial literacy makes possible. The world is divided into those who understand how money works and those who don't. The former accumulate wealth, the latter accumulate debt. The former create financial legacies, the latter create financial burdens. The former experience expanding options, the latter experience shrinking possibilities. Which group will you belong to? I want to challenge you right now. Commit to becoming financially literate, not someday, not when you have more time, not when you make more money. Today, right now, the moment you finish watching this video. Start with one book, one podcast, one video series, one conversation with someone who understands money better than you do. Take one small action that moves you from financial ignorance toward financial understanding. Remember this: every wealthy person was once financially ignorant, but they didn't stay that way. They made a decision to learn, and that decision changed everything. You're not poor, you're financially illiterate, and illiteracy can be cured with education. The good news? Financial education is more accessible today than ever before in human history. The bad news? No one can force you to learn. The decision is entirely yours. What will you decide? If this video opened your eyes to a new way of thinking about money, subscribe to this channel. Here you'll learn what the rich know and what the system doesn't want you to discover. Take control of your financial future now, because the greatest risk isn't investing in your financial education. It's not investing in it. Remember, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations you keep it for.